Angular JS. So in this session we are going to see queue service. With this queue service, an array of promises can be resolved and fetch the data from the JSON file. In this session we are going to see queue service in Angular JS application. So queue service dot all function calls the dot then method after an array of promises has been successfully resolved along with the fetched data. All right, so let's see how we make use of the $q.all function in an Angular JS application. So I'm going to create the application, Angular JS application. Click on file and go to new. Here you can see the project. Go to dynamic web project, review Angular Q service. Okay, so that's the name of the project. It's been created. So here what I do, I need to copy the Angular files. So in another project I do have the Angular JS file, so I'm gonna copy from that application and let me paste it on the current project. But here go to web app and right click and create a folder named lib. Okay, so lib. Here what I do, I just paste the copied AngularJS files. Okay, I can see all the AngularJS files here, and then what I do, right click on web and create the JSP HTML file. So I name it as index.html. Okay, and I'm going to create the AngularJS file named ang demo. So go to new, right click on web, new, and then file, click on file. Here you give the name angdemo.js. Okay, so Angular. Alright, so and then I'm going to create two JSON file. Alright, so in these JSON files we place the data. So right click on web app, go to new, and then click on file. Here what you do, data.json. So data is the name of the file and JSON is the file. That's the file type. All right, JSON. And I'm going to create one more JSON file named more data.json. Okay, that's it. So initially let me create and altogether I mean we are going to do just we are going to place the data in this JSON file in these both the JSON files, data.json and more data.json. Alright, so let me place some data here. Here what I do, I open the bracket initially, and then within that I use the braces. Right, and here what I do, I'm going to give the data in key value tab. Okay, so the key should be within double quotes and the value should be within double quotes, and these key and value should be segregated using the colon. All right, so here I give name and then colon and then so name, I just give some text. All right, so then again one more key value, that is occu, just for shorten for occupation, occu, and then I give some text, right? So that's it. So this is a record, all right? So it does have, it's a, so I would like to have a few more records. So what I do, I just uh, copy this and paste it over there, and these records are segregated using the comma. Here again comma, okay, and I am gonna change the, so key value, the key content should be the same, all right, the name and occu for each and every record. The value must differ, right? So here I give some other text. Here I give something. So that's it, all right. So now I have created data. I place the data in the JSON file, that is the data.json file, all right. So that's it. So let's move on to more data.json. Here I need to create the data, this the same format what we did with the data.json. So I'm going to just copy this and let me change the value for the, value, let me change the content for the value, all right. So I just copy and paste it here. Here what I do, the key value is name, and then occu, the second key value is occu, and I'm going to change the content. So here I give some more, okay, and here I give file, here I give office, and then I give file, I give expense, here I give the file, all right. I change the content. So we have created the data, and we have created the data and placed in the two JSON file, that is data.json and more-data.json, all right. That's it. So we're going to read this data in an Angular we are going to read this data and display it on the web page using the AngularJS queue service, all right. So let's move to the ing-demo.js file. So here we create the module, all right, Angular module. How do we create? So var app equal, all right. So here I give angular dot module, here I give the name of the module, that is ang app, okay, or ang demo, and I give the array. So in this array all the dependent JS files we just have this array just to have all the dependent JS files, all right. So that's it. I'm going to create the controller. So app.controller, I give the name for this controller angctrl, all right. And then what I do, I create the function, and this function takes three services as parameters. One is scope, the other one is HTTP, and the other one is queue service. So already we have seen the two services named scope and HTTP, and in this session we are going to see the new service, that is queue service, all right. So here what I do, I just so within this I'm going to declare two variables. One is URL. So I'm going to create two variables. One is URL, and this URL is assigned with the file name, right? So we have created data.json file. So I am going to give this file name, all right? Data.json. Okay, and one more variable I'm going to create, URL2 equal, and here I assign the value. We have created one more JSON file, more hyphen data. So I'm going to give that more hyphen data dot JSON. Okay. Okay. Fine. Now, now, so what happens here? The complete this data.json, uh, that complete file, all right, uh, that link got stored in this URL, all right, URL variable, and here more hyphen data.json, that link, that path got stored in this URL2 variable, all right. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use the scope service, and I create a array named data. Okay, equal, right, that's it. Okay, I created the array named data in scope object, all right. And then what I do, so here just key in the dollar and then the queue, and then this queue service does have a method named all, all right. I just call the method all in queue service and open the parenthesis, right. Within this use a bracket. Okay, and here what you do, you just call the we use the dot http service. This http service does have a method named dot, the method named get, which is used to read the data from the server. So here I use this get method, I pass in the URL as parameter, right. So this URL, it's a variable that holds the data.json file name, all right. So this data.json file name that's been passed to this get method, so that this get method will fetch the data from the server. That is, it will fetch the data from the data.json file, all right. And then what I do, one more file is we need to read. So one more promise. So this we call it as a promise, all right. This we call it as a promise, all right. And one more http, one more promise, that is dollar http service dot get, and here I pass in the URL, right. So that is nothing but, you can see, URL2 variable, which is declared and assigned with the value more data.json file, right. So this more hyphen data.json file name is stored in URL2 variable. So I pass that URL2 variable name to this get method, so that this get method will fetch the data from this more hyphen data.json file, right. And then I just call the then method. Okay, here I pass in the response. Okay, I mean I create the function. Okay, that function I pass in the response. See here, you can see the function. All right, this then method, within I just call the then method, and I create the function, uh, and this function does have a parameter named response. This response argument, it does have all the fetched data that we have done using the HTTP GET method. All right. Okay, so inside this, what we do, so we have created the scope dot get, right? So it's an array, right? So I'm gonna whatever the data I just fetched, those data, I'm gonna assign it to this data array. All right, which resides in scope object. So scope, I dollar scope dot data equal response dot map. All right, and I'm gonna use the resp resp dot data. Okay. So that's it. So here run response valid trailing command elements. That's it. So I'm gonna move. Let's move to index.html. Here what I do, I just give the title. In the title element, I just give the queue service. All right, so that this page name would be $q service. Okay, so here what I do, I'm gonna use I'm gonna add the AngularJS file. All right, using the script element. So script, here I use the src attribute. So here I give, so I'll go to the lib directory, and you can see the angular.js file. Right click on it and click on copy qualified name, and here what you do, paste it here, and it is more enough to have the path that starts from lib / angular.js. Again, here we have created a JS file named ang demo. Just give the name here, just to link that JS file to this HTML file. We need to give the name ang demo.js file. All right, so that's it. Here what you do, you use the div directive, and within this div use the data-ng-app equal. We have created the ang demo as the app. That's the model we have created, and then use one more attribute, data-ng-controller, so that we make use of the controller. That's ang ctrl. That's the one we have created. So within this div element, I'm gonna use the unordered list. Okay, UL, it stands for the acronym for this UL is unordered list. Okay, and here what I do, I just create li, that is list. Okay, li stands for list. The acronym for this li is list. Okay, Here what I do, I use that attribute in data-ng-repeat, okay, equal. Here go to the ang demo.js, you can find the scope dot data array, right? So I'm going to use that array which holds this data array, which holds the fetched data, which holds the data that's been fetched from two files. One is data.json file and the other one is data.more-data.json file. So these two, the data from these two JSON files are fetched, and they are in the response. They are in the response object, and that's been mapped. That's been assigned to this data array, which resides in scope object. All right. So I'm going to use this data array, all right, in index.html. So I'm going to assign here d in data. Okay, and within this I create one more unordered list. Okay, and here what I do, I use the again one more, I create the list. Here I use the data-ng-repeat equal, yeah, data-ng-repeat equal. So this d, all right, it's a whole record, all right. So we need to fetch all the we need to fetch the key as well as it's a record. D is a record, all right. So this data is an array and d is a record, and within this record we need to fetch two key values, right? So two key values. So I what I do, I use product in d, all right, and here I use the two braces to print the values, key value pairs on the web page, right? So here what I do, product dot name I give, all right, I give product dot name colon, and I use again two braces, and here I give product dot aku, all right, that's it. So this product keyword, it comes from this here, all right. So let me make it clear. Data is an array, all right. So this d again it's going to be the single record, where each time when it iterates, it's going to be the single record. So this from this single record, this product will fetch the key value pairs, all right, key value pairs. So this single record does have two key value pairs, all right. So this product will fetch both the key value pairs, two key value pairs, and within this product use the product name, that we use the keyword, the text product, the variable product. So this data is an array, this d is a variable, all right. Again d is a variable, and this data product is a variable, all right. So this product, using this product variable, we call the name. So this name is nothing but, this aku is nothing but, it's a key value, all right. Go to data.json, here you can see name as a key value and aku is the key value. Again, wherein more-data, you can see name as a key value, aku is the key value. It applies to all the records, all right. So that's the reason in index.html, product.name and product.aku, all right. So these been segregated using the colon. So whatever we give within this braces, those data has been fetched from the relevant file, that is JSON file, right? So it's been configured in the angdemo.js file. Okay, here the data is assigned in the all the data fetched from this data.json more-data.json are assigned to this data array here. All right, you can see this. All right, fine. So let me, that's it. So let me run this. Let's see. So ANG queue service, that's the application we have created. So I just went through the code snippet, and we need to give responses. The S should be given, not response, responses. All right. So I gave that. Here we need to give responses. All right. So I gave it, and then when I ran the application, it got executed. All right. I got. Let me run it now. So when we run this application, what we will see on the web page, this application will fetch the data from data.json file as well as more-data.json file. It will fetch the data from both these JSON files and print it on the web page. All right. So the data will be, the output will be what you would we will see on the web page: name, colon, and then this content, that is key value pair. All right, then aku is the key, and this is the value. HF JF is the value. So this key value pair is segregated using the colon. So similarly for all the records that resides in this data.json, that will be printed on the web page. All right. So again, it's the control, it name, the same thing applies to this more-data.json. It will fetch the data from this more-data.json and it will print it on the web page. Right? It's been done using the queue service. Go to the ANG demo. You can see the queue service, right? .all. This method, it does this work, right? So we read data from the server. All right, we read data from more than one file from the server, so that those read data are all in the responses object, and that responses object is assigned to this data array. All right. So using and again we iterate this data array and print it on the web page. All right. So that's what it's been done. So let me run this. So ANG queue service, I select and I click on finish. Now you can see we got the output page. You can see the name of the page is $queue service. Why? Because in the title element we have given $queue service. That's the reason you can see there. All right, and then you can see the unordered list and then the list. All right, this dark black dot, it represents, I mean, that's a representation of the representation of the unordered list, and then this this dot again, it represents the list. All right. So here you can see the key and then colon, okay, and then the value, right? And where does it have, I mean, where you can find this data? Go to the data.json. You can see the HF JHF, and then that is the value for the name key, and HFJF, that is the value for the aku key. All right. And again, go for the second record, go to the page, here you can see BNBF, all right, and then colon, and then you can see YUR YRU, all right. So go to this JSON data.json file. You can see BNBF, that's a value for the name key, and YUR YRU, that's a value for the OKU key, all right. So similarly, one more record here, this record got read and displayed on the page, BNBHJFHP. You can see BNBNB colon and then HJFHG, all right. So let's and then control more goes to this, I mean this you can see the http.get method, all right. So this get method, we pass in the URL. This URL contains a data.json, so that the data.json got read, and then comma, we give one more file name URL2, which contains more-data.json. so the control, using this get method, obviously it's gonna, get method will fetch the data from this more-data.json. so control goes to this more-data.json. Here you can see name, key value pairs, name, and then the value for this key is more. Oku is a key and the value for this file. Similarly, we do have two more records in this file, so that got read and it's been printed. Go to the web page. Here you can see more, and then the value for this key more is file, right? See, key name is more, I mean the key, the more value got printed, and then file value got printed, right? Similarly, office and then file, expense and then file. Go to the here office and then file and expense colon file, all right. So all the records in both the JSON file data-json more-data.json files are fetched, and that got printed on the web page, all right. So that's it, that's for the session. So in this session we have seen the queue service and its method all, right. So how to make use of this queue service and its method all in an AngularJS application. Thanks for watching. Bye.